Hi, I'm Austin Gisriel. Thanks for tuning in. I was born in 1957, a baby boomer for whom World War II was ever present. My dad served in the Navy as an electronic technician's mate on a destroyer. My mom worked at Butler Brothers in Baltimore, where they sewed blouses for the waves and where she was named an editor for the plant newsletter. We had a neighbor who fought in the Battle of the Bulge. My favorite uncle operated a flamethrower in the Pacific. The war was always there, like a ghost that everyone had seen and learned to live with, and because it was always there, I never gave it much thought. I was perhaps 50 before I began to see my parents as the young people they were when Pearl Harbor was bombed. What their life must have been like became more and more fascinating to me. Because we know the outcome of history, we tend to think it was preordained, but the outcome of World War II was anything but, especially in that first year. And the outcome for any individual soldier, sailor, or Marine was always in doubt until they were safely home. This fascination of mine grew until I was inspired to write The Secret of Their Midnight Tears, a novella that opens in June of 1941 and ends on Thanksgiving Day, 1942. The passage I'm about to read is from Chapter 5, entitled December 7th, 1941. That particular Sunday, out on the Marsh farm, Buck Marsh, a high school senior and very talented baseball player, was in the barn throwing baseballs through an old tire. What you will hear is fiction, but what you will see is real. Photos and mementos from my mom's scrapbooks, which she preserved to the end of her life. As for Buck, he had removed his baseball glove from a box under his bed, gathered up half a dozen or so old brown baseballs that had survived the LeBeau spinner season, and went to the barn to practice his pitching. He had hung an old tire from a rafter at the far end, tying a dozen or so burlap feed bags behind the tire to retard the flight of the ball as it zipped through the opening. Occasionally he missed the opening, and the tire too, and then the ball rattled off the wooden wall with a loud bang, which was usually followed by the cackling of hens out in the yard, or the scurrying of the barn cat. Despite the cold weather, Buck had worked up quite a sweat in the half hour or so that he had been practicing. He was in the middle of his wind-up when his father burst into the barn. "Buck, come in quick. It just come over the radio that the Japs have bombed Pearl Harbor. The man said it was still going on right now." Buck missed the tire. The clattering of the ball as it hit the wall and ricocheted across the floor was the only sound. Buck left the ball on the barn floor and hurried into the house with his father. They sat across from one another on either side of the radio as Tom anxiously turned the dial from NBC Blue to NBC Red to Mutual to CBS, but this proved unsatisfactory. "Just pick one, Pop. We're missing as much as we're getting by switching it around so much." Tom turned the dial to WQCR, the NBC Red affiliate, and the strongest signal in the area, in time to hear that Manila had also been bombed. At 3 o'clock, correspondent H.V. Kaltenborn summarized what few details were known, but one statement resonated with Tom. "This means that war is underway between Japan and the United States." He looked at Buck. "By God, we're in another war." Take that journey back to the days of your parents or grandparents and order The Secret of Their Midnight Tears, which is available in both softcover and ebook versions. The book's retail links appear in the video's description below. The ebook contains active links to a variety of people, programs, and events mentioned in the novel. Thank you for watching, and let us never forget a generation of boys and girls, for that's what they were, who saved the world.